Hey, welcome back to Ben's Boats. My name's Ben. Today, we're continuing work on the 1982 Cobalt. We got the engine in the last episode. Now we gotta add some oil, do some wiring, and a few other miscellaneous items before we can take it to the lake for the first test ride. Still super excited that we got this thing in. I'm elated. It looks great. There's just a couple things yet. Like I said, oil, wiring, gotta hook up a fuel system, tighten up some more connections, get a battery, take it to the water. Always clean my funnels before use, just so I don't get any nastiness down inside the engine. Alright, there's 4 quarts. Perfect. Right at the full mark. That only took like 4.5 quarts of oil. I guess I'm not really too terribly surprised. I sucked the oil out of this thing before it was hot. I did that the other day. There's a good chance there was some left that didn't run all the way down to the pan, but it's fine. I'm going to change it after the first 15 hours anyways. Let's put an outdrive on. This thing's been sitting for a while in the shop here. It's a little dusty. I gotta clean up these U-joints here, grease these zerks. Should be good to go after that. This might not be that easy. I see this halo of oil right here. I'm really hoping that's not gear oil. It doesn't really smell like it, but I'm not sure what else it could be. So now somehow I gotta get that big heavy thing up onto this workbench. Here we go. Oh boy. Things just got a little more spicy. Alright, so we've got a gear lube leak from, looks like this seal right here. Everything's kind of crusty and corroded inside this drive. It worked okay when I had it on the lake, but I need to be sure that this is going to be reliable. As of right now, I'm not going to do anything with this leak. I know it's leaking from right there. It's a known issue. I'm going to clean this, put it back together, put it on the boat so we can go to a lake test. I don't want this holding me up. I know it's an issue, but this is something to address when it gets cold. You're probably yelling at me right now, just fix it while you're here. Well, I would, but if I do anything else to this, and everything I've done here ends up not working, then that itself is a lost cause. This can run with a leak for a little while, for as long as I need a lake test. I'm going to monitor the oil conditions. This, however, is my biggest concern. If everything I've put together here is going to work on the lake. Now, the old OMC cell-lock manuals state, and I quote, "Water in the gear lube is very bad news," and I typically agree with that. In this instance, I know there's no water in there right now because I took a gear lube sample when I finished the lake test of the donor boat, and it's good. So it's got clean oil in there. I know it's good. We're just going to run it the way it is for now. These U-joints are actually in really good shape. I'm surprised, being a 1997, that they're in as good a shape as they are. That was crusty. I got a new water O-ring here as well, so. got the outdrive mounted. Boy, this thing looks weird with an outdrive finally on the back. I've been looking at this boat for the better part of 2 years with literally nothing on the transoms. This is really weird, but really exciting. I even got the shift cable connected. Everything works, the linkages, everything should be good to go. We're going to be doing some wiring tonight to connect this old OMC harness to the new Volvo harness. Part of the reason I went with the Volvo, because back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Volvo Penta actually acquired what used to be OMC, and a lot of this stuff crosses over. A lot of it's standard GM wiring colors, but a lot of the same wires that are in this boat from 1982 cross over entirely to the 1997 wiring harness. Obviously, this plug is different than what's installed on the boat. I've got this pigtail I stole out of the donor boat. I've got to make these wires work with these right here. Got to start by cutting this old harness out of here. There it is. This 40-year-old tape has not done any favors. So a lot of these wires are actually the same between the two harnesses. There's only a few that I'm not going to use. From the Volvo harness, this tan with blue tracer, this is a secondary alarm wire for temperature overheat. This engine doesn't have that and the boat doesn't have a buzzer, so we're going to not use that. From this harness, this gets a little funky. We have two wires here, white with green, white with blue. These are the old tilt wires from the old OMC. We're not going to use those either because obviously I'm using the trim side of things on this, so we're not going to be using these two. The last one that we have is this orange wire here. This was for an ammeter back in the day when this boat didn't come with an ammeter. This was an option on some OMCs. This one doesn't have it, so I'm going to tie this one and this red one together. And just to be sure that's okay to do, we're going to do a quick continuity test. Okay, those are not the same wire. I'm going to leave this out for now, just to be sure. Yeah, I'm gonna omit this for now. My plan is to kind of stagger these like a 1, 2, and 3 kind of deal, so I don't have a massive clump of butt connectors here. So I'm gonna make these as long as I can. These 3 are gonna get cut back, and these 2 are gonna get cut back first. I got like a 1, 2, 3 step going back. Now you may be wondering which wires are which. Well, we got 12 volts on all the time. This is the main ground. This gray is our tachometer readout. This goes straight to the negative side of the coil. This yellow with red tracer is our start excite wire straight from the key. This brown wire here is our this is our temp sender. Blue is oil pressure, and then purple is keyed power. Okay, nice and feathered out. We're going to work our way from back to front now, shortening as we go. All right, that's it. That turned out all right. Looks pretty good. I want to put a battery on this thing and see what we got. I have no idea what's going to happen when I connect everything. All my wires should be correct. No fuel lines going through the belts. Here goes nothing. We're going to plug it in. Try the battery. Spark test. Huh. Something's drawing power. Not much though. Okay, this is the first time in like 2 years this thing has had a battery on it. And I've just redone the harness. Nothing's burning yet. We're gonna try some systems first. Let's start with some lights. Okay. We got lights on. Let's do interior lights. Ooh, they're on. Some color changing. Let's do our navs. Yep. Comes on. That's my antenna. It's a blower. And that's connected. Let's see if the radio comes on. How do you turn it on right there? I don't know if... Oh, that's right. Radio switch. It's been so long. I'm an idiot. I totally forgot. This boat was wired up with the battery on the other side with the other engine. And my wires for the stereo are all right here. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get those over there or get that over there. Let's hit the key. We got gauge power. Everything comes alive. Fuel's not moving. Wonder what that's about. My tachometer doesn't seem to move. Nope. Tiny bit of movement on the needle. Alright. Without further ado, let's bump this key. See what we got. Y'all keep it on the motor. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yes, sir. I want to see what we've got at the coil as far as power, ground, and continuity when that key is hit and then turned off. I want to make sure we have 12 volts when it's on and not 12 volts when it's off. I need to make sure I have both of those so it'll run and also stop. Okay, this is a good sign. Key is off. There's no voltage at its coil. I'm going to hit the key. Take a look. Six volts. Do we have a ballast resistor in this system? We shouldn't. We have electronic ignition. I wonder... Huh. What happens if I try to fire it off real quick? Ooh, first start. She ran. She ran. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna start it now, run it just for a second to make sure my alternator's charging everything. It runs! It runs! That's the first time this thing has made noise from that key in years. And even better with this new engine. You can smell the fuel, you can smell the exhaust. This is huge. I'm elated. It's actually worked. It charged. I showed oil pressure on the screen. I didn't see any temp, obviously. It showed it was charging on the gauge. We're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, I almost forgot. We gotta try the trim. See what happens. Ooh. Oh yeah. I am stoked that the trim works. Just elated. I got the trim tabs on both port and starboard sides. Looks good. I moved the battery from the starboard side of the boat over here over to the port side now because that's how I had it set up, so my wirings ran that way. Got to do a couple more things and then we're going to the lake. That's all I've got for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how I did down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.